Welcome to this week's episode of Black Plague Precision, where we talk about one of my favorite companies in the long range precision game. That's right, we're talking about Short Action Customs. If you're looking for some amazing products to help improve or just get started in this game, you're going to want to tune in for this episode. Let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome to today's episode where we're going to be going over Short Action Customs. I'm very excited because I am doing this episode in the new studio. It took a little while to get set up, but I am excited to have it running and to be able to do these episodes out of here. So if you're following along, you're going to want to check out their Instagram accounts. The first thing we're going to start on, and that is Short Action Customs. Now you'll see they don't have very many not followers. They don't have very many posts, and that's okay. I mean, it's not like they're a newer company. You would think that they might be because of where the posts are at, but they're not. Now they should have way more followers like this, and I think just in general, this industry doesn't have a ton of followers because people don't know where to go. They don't know what to look for. They don't, maybe they don't take shooting as seriously and they don't want to put the money or time into improving their products. But I think just sort of from an entertaining standpoint, as well as just understanding what's out there, this is a good opportunity. And so this here, we'll sort of see now. They are running a Black Friday sale coming up, and there's a lot of companies during this time, November, that start running sales. So if you're looking to get products at discounted prices, this is the time to start preparing, right? Right after October, going into November, going into December is when you're going to start seeing all the deals. And some of the companies run their Black Friday sales. Some of them are running, sort of the holiday sales in December. And so you'll see here we have starts in November 24th and then ends November 29th. And I'm sure they're going to do another thing come December. So very cool. Make sure you guys mark that in your calendar. Whenever I see these sales come out, now for me, I always subscribe to all the companies that I like because I want to get the information that's out there, and I want to get it when it's being released. So I would recommend doing that, and we'll look at that on the website. But you can sort of see here, they're going to be doing this sale, and I always mark them in my calendar so I know when they're starting, when they're ending. And also, I know when I need to be on them because sometimes they do limited offer stuff, and that stuff has gone very quickly, especially if you want to get it. And so check that out. This is actually a pretty good representation of what they have there. They do, granted, if this is a little bit more in the direction of reloading. And so if you are planning on doing your own reloading, especially if you're getting precision rifle and if you're going to get to the level where you're thinking about competing, or you just want to put out a product that is consistent, then you want to start looking at high-end precision rifle stuff, precision rifle reloading stuff. And so this is where I ran my reloading products out of, and I run Short Action Customs dies, and that's what you're going to see over here on the left, and that's what's going to expand, or that's what's going to clean, or that's what's going to seat your bullets. And so we'll go over that more, but you'll see we have sort of that stuff. We have these gauging systems, so if you want to do measurements, you can do that through this leveling kit here, so you can sort of see that. I also own that, and that's so you can very accurately balance your rifle scope and make sure that it's level. It's a rifle scope leveling kit. And then I also run this barrel vise system. And shocker, why do I run this stuff? Why did I go in this direction? Well, it was because of Wolf Precision, right? If you haven't seen the Wolf Precision episode, it is episode 1. Check it out because they are the ones that sort of spider webbed me to all of these companies. But this is a good kind of start where you can see their offerings and what they're doing. But their Instagram account, it's aesthetic, it's nice. It gives you a picture of what's going on, as well as sort of shows you like who their athletes are, things like that. Talking about that gauge system, right? You can sort of see that here. So pretty cool. They are an American-made company, And so we'll go into that more in depth when we get to the website. But ultimately, you can start to see that, they have a nice little website. They have their athletes, their profiling, their products. They sponsor a lot of shooting competitions. So you're going to see their name come up quite a bit as we're in there. And as you're sort of looking at this, you should, at least for me, I was looking at something, what is this thing? What is this? Especially when I was brand new, because building your rifle is what you're going to find is significantly different than what you're going to be looking for when you are trying to reload. And when I realized that I was going to need to reload, which I didn't realize initially, because I'll get into that more later, but this was sort of eye-opening, and I think they do a really good job of sort of promoting what they do, as well as offering just the highest of quality stuff. So pretty cool. Check out their social media. I always really like to go through the social medias because they're, just to see how they're putting out their products, how they're marketing them, because that's sort of my background. But for you guys, maybe that's not your thing, but definitely give them a follow. Let's jump into the website. All right. I'm going to let this run for a second, and I'm going to talk about it because there's not a lot of companies that are doing this where they're running a video at the beginning of their website, and it's pretty cool. It gives you a good understanding of sort of what's going on, and you can sort of see. So this actually here, Vallejo, is a shooter, Marine, retired scout sniper, and one of the guys that also got me sort of moving in the direction of short action customs. I believe initially I did hear it on one of the podcasts, the names, and when I was going through the podcast for Wolf Precision, I was sort of taking notes on the company names that I was hearing. But then when you're going through social media and you're trying to find people who are using the products, who are actually talking about them and promoting them, there weren't a lot of people. And Vallejo was one of those people who was promoting it, who was showing it. And also, as you guys know, I have a high regard for Marine Scout snipers. And so I was very interested in what he had to say. I wanted to see how he was integrating. The stuff that he learned as a Marine Scout sniper, and how he was correlating that over to competitive shooting and how he was using these products. And in my head, I just didn't feel that you could go from having, military grade equipment and then go to having just complete trash. I figured this is the sort of person with the sort of discipline who's going to want to find things that work. And he's been competitive. This is another person, I believe her name is Allison. I'll bring her profile up. But she's a teen competitor and she's just smashing it out there. She's sponsored by a lot of amazing companies. And so you start to see that you get people who are sponsored by these companies who are doing really great things. And what you'll also find is they also have a social media presence. So definitely follow their social media. It'll give you it's a 3D view of what's really going on. And that's what I love about what I'm doing here is I'm trying to help you guys see the full picture, right? You have the company putting out what they want you to know, right? Then you can go and you can look at what the competitors are doing. Then you can start to look at, well, what does this look like in competition? How is this making improvements? And you start to see the full picture of what's going on. But yeah, I love the way they do this video here. Now, if we're looking at the top, there's obviously every website has a couple ways to navigate what you're doing. I always navigate from the top because I don't really want to scroll. I've been through all of these websites. But for you, then we'll definitely go through this. So you can see they have everything that you would need here, right? They have all their navigation, they have all their social medias, and you can check your build status here, which we'll talk about. So they do custom rifle builds. Now, I did not get my rifle build through them, so I can't speak to how that works and everything like that. But I do know that they run a lot of products that are highly regarded in the industry. I know they run, I want to say they run proof barrels, but I know that you can provide some of your own stuff. But they do have short action custom offerings that they can help put on there, and we're going to go through that stuff. So you can sort of see you custom rifles here on the left, original products on the right, and you can click on the original products that they have. We have the short action customs bio about the people that are involved with the product, and then some of what they have. And again, this is a nice little rotator here where it's going to rotate their products and what they're doing. And then they have their hot products here, which, like I said, I'm running quite a bit of this stuff, and I'm going to get into a little more as we actually go through them. Contact them, Google Maps, and then at the very bottom, like everything else, they have their contact information. They have their services. They can sign up for the mailing list, what I would highly recommend. So you can get, I always get if they're out of something, I always get an email for when that product is back in. You can sign up so you get notified for that, as well as when they come out with new products. And there's a couple things that I really want to get from here that I'm going to sort of talk about. They have their business hours, and then their social media again. So pretty typical, first page, but it is done very nicely. It highlights all the products. And again, this video at the beginning is pretty sweet. So let's jump in. Let's go to the about section, and let's go about us. So, I'll give you guys the opportunity to read through this, but the highlight here is Mark Gordon, the owner, and retired or done, completed, in good standings Marine. And so he, he's the face of the company. He's the individual who owns the company. And so I have called over there before and somebody helped me. And I find a lot of times with smaller companies like this, you do sometimes speak to the owner, but I forget the name of the individual that I spoke to. But they were extremely helpful because I was very lost on what I was doing on reloading. And I knew I wanted to get their product. I just didn't know exactly what to want to do. You have Alan Smith there, Josh Howell, and Jerome Nikoloff. Hopefully I'm saying all of these right. But that's the team that's over there. Read up on their bios. It's cool to get to know kind of what's going on with their company, what their history is, sort of stuff like that. I know maybe it seems like, why do I need to know that? I just want to know what they have and how to do it. But for me, I like to read the about sections because you're going to spend a lot of money and a lot of time working with these companies. And I like to know that I'm working with somebody that I can trust, that's reliable, and who's not going to close their doors in, a year. And I have this product that I need help with. So I think that's great to check that out. Plus, I'm just generally interested in who's creating stuff in this industry and are they competing. Here we go. We got their shooting team. So I'm not super familiar with the shooting team, but I do know, like I had mentioned in the middle, we have Vallejo on the left, and then in the middle, I believe her name's Allison. And I do follow both of them in the shooting. But again, not every one of these shooters have accounts, or if they do, I haven't really been linked to them. And so I'd love to get linked to them. You guys, write in the comments if you find their tags or whatever it is. But those are the two main people that I follow. And, they're a competitive team. Oh, yeah. See, there you go. Allison Zane. So she's an outstanding shooter. And I sort of talked about this on another episode. I think that precision rifle shooting is like prime for people in their teens and their 20s, especially if you're doing precision rifle PRS shooting or precision rifle shooting, or any sort of highly moving competition where you're moving all day, where your body, you're not super injured yet, and you still have the stamina and you still have the ability. You have to get in these low crouching positions. You have to get in, laying flat. You have to be able to get up and down all day and carry around your rifle, and have the mental wherewithal to do that. And sometimes when you get a little bit older, that's not quite everything that you have anymore. And so I think it is primed for the younger people. The only problem is that it is so expensive. And so they need to find a way to create offerings to get teens involved. Maybe a couple companies come together and they build, a team, but they actually build the entire rifles. Like the rifles are owned by the team. And that's what I think would be a really cool idea. It's very similar to what I would see for paintball. One of my friends was a world-renowned paintballer, and got to travel all over the world to do paintball competitions. And all of the stuff that they did, all that stuff is sponsored. They're sponsored athletes. And so I know that's kind of the direction they're going into, but I'm saying everything is owned by the company and they get to sort of use it, and it would make it easier to bring people in, especially younger people. Again, Vallejo, he's probably my favorite person to follow on Instagram in general because he just puts out such pristine content that's so helpful. I'll watch one video 20 times to see what I can pick up. You know, how's he sitting? Where's his finger lying? Where is he looking? How much pressure is he putting on the rifle? I mean, just like try to get absorb every detail that I can here. Who do we got here? Matt Rooks, Cameron Collins, running the 308. He's running Defiance. This is actually, I never really looked at this, but you can see what they're running, right? So let's go back up real quick. So we're looking at the action. We have Defiance action here. And remember, I talked about how the action is where a lot of people start. You know, they want to build you pick your caliber, but really you pick your action, and then you can sort of build around that, or you pick your chassis and what you're going to put into it. So you can look at this and you're going to see, well, okay, well, what are the pros using, right? I use Trigger Tech Diamond. He's using a Barred Barrel, which is one of the best, barrels that are out there. Long Peak Arms Fusion action. I haven't heard of that action before. I'm going to have to check into that. We have the Impact 737R. I'm not sure who that's through either. And then you can start to take a look at what are they using for calibers, and that's going to sort of help guide you on your builds. Again, we have another Trigger Tech. We have Cameron Collins here, who is running Defiance. So a lot of Defiance. I wonder if they are partnered with Defiance actions, because quite a bit on here. Maybe not. We have Trigger Tech Diamond. Let's see. We have Oren Lewis, who is also running Defiance, and 6BRA. Trigger Tech Diamond. Manners Chassis. We have Salam Manasala. Ooh, that's a tricky one for me. Another Defiance, another Trigger. Running the Collis, which again is the scope that I run. And actually, Vallejo is the one that sort of reaffirmed me on getting the Collis. I would message him every once in a while, and he was nice enough to write back. Not like we were friends or anything like that, but just like he responds to his fans, I guess. And so he did respond to a couple things, but obviously, like, he is sponsored by certain teams, so he can't always like be super objective, I think, about sort of the sum and stuff, because he is sponsored. But he's the one that sort of locked me in on that Collis. And then who do we have here? We have Alan Smith, again, Defiance. So you can sort of see like they are big. At least is what the pros are using out here. If you're looking to model, we have Christopher. He's running that 737R. Say we got a Proof Barrel. We got Matt. We got Defiance. We got Barden Barrel. I like that photo. Jeffrey, he's doing the Defiance, a couple different ones. But so here's the team. Pretty cool. And I think, for the value, the longest time I couldn't figure out what was the best thing to get for this discipline. And you'd go to all these forums and you'd be like, okay, what are the pros using, right? I mean, if the pros are using, it doesn't always mean it's the best. Maybe it means that company markets the best, or they sponsor the best, or whatever it is. But likely these guys are not going to keep shooting them if they're bad. So this is great because this thing wasn't really around when I got started, in the way that like people weren't really putting what they were putting out, what they were using, because they were so small, so competitive. And I think people are getting a lot better being transparent about what they're using. And for me, this would be a great resource that I wouldn't really know about. I would go look at the teams, right? Go look at these big companies. Do they have teams? Does it highlight what they're using? And Short Action Customs is doing that very thing. Bullet Jump Research. So they have their own sort of research that they're running, which is pretty cool. You can read up on that. And then Dealer Inquiry, which we are not a dealer. So, doesn't really matter to me on that front. But so let's go ahead and jump into services. Let's take a look. We're not accepting any actions and bolt services until March of 2024. So you guys have a little bit of time to plan here. But again, they do machine work, right? They build stuff. So they have, like I said, they have a lot of offerings where they can help you maybe improve something that you already have, or design or put something together for you. So we have action and bolt trim, double pin recoil lugs, factory bolt knob conversions, which I think would be pretty cool because my knob is sort of big. M6 extractors, side bolt. Let's see what happens when we click on one of these. Does it take us anywhere? Okay, there you go. So it gives us a little more in depth on sort of what they're doing. And so if you're looking to get a service done, this is a good place to look. I mean, I guess if you're you're gonna need this, the double pin recoil lug install. So mine is built into my action, so I don't have to do that. But if yours isn't, that's maybe something you want to do. Custom bolts, $140. I mean, yeah, I guess that's really up to you, but they at least have the option, if you want to do these sort of things. So you can do an extractor, and let's look at this last one, slide bolt release. So cool little offerings here on this. I've never used this portion of it because of everything that I built or everything I've gotten for my rifle is locked in. I don't really need to make additions on it or anything. I've done a couple small upgrades on the chassis, but everything else, like I'm pretty happy with what I have. So they have their barrel services, so barrel fluting, which if you're not familiar with fluting, it's essentially these designs that are done. You'll sometimes see them on action bolts. You'll often see them on barrels. And I've never done this because I think there's been sort of a back and forth, and there's not a ton of research that's done in this industry. And there's a couple people that do it that that I follow, and they put in the work and the time, but there's not a lot of research. Barrel harmonics is the thing. That's why they have tuners, and the further you go out, the more that becomes important. Maybe at the PRS level, it's not as gripping, but I will say that it is something that I've just always been concerned about, and it's not anything that I ever want to worry about. That's always sort of been my idea, even though it looks super cool. So you can get these designs done, fluting is what they're called, on your barrels, and looks like they're $200 to $250 to get them done. But I mean, I think, if you're cutting off material to your barrel, it is going to affect the harmonics of it. And if you get a tuner, I mean, I guess it would stay on there, but I don't know. It's just nothing, even though I want to do it, I should say, I just haven't done it. So custom chambering for your rifle. And again, I don't need this because if you buy a barrel and it needs to be chambered for the rifle you're using, then that's what you would do here, right? And I don't need that because I run the ACE system, and it's its own chamber system. Custom thread protection. That's nice. At the front, so imagine if you get the front threaded, that's what this section is for. Desert Tech barrel. Those are pretty nice. That's nice. I like that black one. I always wanted to get a black barrel, but I never did. And then you have, there you go, muzzle threading. So let's go to build your rifle. So again, you can see they're doing machine work already here. So it would make sense that they could help build your rifle, and you can get a blank barrel. They can chamber it for you if you need to do things with your lugs on your action. They can do that. They can help you get into a chassis and all of the sort of things that you would need to do to build your rifle. I have heard people say that they have their stuff built by Short Action Customs, and so I know people are getting kind of their whole systems from here, the same way that I got it done from Wolf Precision, but I haven't done it myself there. I've only kind of gone through the products that they have for their stuff. So stock and refinishing services. So we have our ARCA rail installs, which sometimes I think what this is sometimes when you buy stocks, there's nothing on the bottom and there isn't anything. You need to essentially drill into it to put these ARCA rails on so you can attach it to, let's say, a bipod, or you want to attach things onto the bottom of it. That's what that would sort of be for. And again, that's not something that I want to deal with personally on a rifle that I am shooting with. I want sort of the least amount of moving things that are going on here. Chassis painting. This is 100% something that I'm going to do at some point. Maybe I'll get it done here. Is it needed? Absolutely not. Do I want it just because it would look cool as crap? Absolutely, yes. Embedded front rail. All right. That's, yeah, okay. Epoxy pillar bedding. So on the inside, getting the bedding done. So everything on when you're putting it into the stock sits the way that it needs to sit and evenly and consistently. Flush cup installation. So this is if you want to add like a sling on or something. You need this again, and this is my rifle has this, so I don't have to get it installed. But if you don't have it, you need to get that drilled or whatever and get that installed so you can run a sling on it or whatever else you might want to do. I'm not honestly sure what this is. You're gonna have to look into that yourself, guys. I'm not sure what that is. And then we have Picatinny rail install. Same thing as the Arca rail, but it's a different sort of gripping system. And then you have the bedding services again. So different service bedding, but still bedding. So again, we're running on all these services, which now you're starting to see like this stuff is not offered with Wolf Precision. And I think that's why the stuff that they offer is stuff that you would essentially not have to do this stuff with. And so if you're going to go this direction and depending on what you're going to get, you might need to get some of these things done to actually have a completed rifle. And that's something you're going to have to do. Now, what I will say is when I called them, they were excellent. Even when I told them like, hey, look, I'm really new. I'm not really sure what I'm doing. I just tell you what my goal is here. They were able to help guide me and really work out the math for me on what I needed. So, and then they have their gallery and, you know, beautiful products here. Now, I will say that when I come to Short Action Customs, I don't look at these at all. I come directly to shop because that's why I'm there. And that's something you can do. And I do it on my phone as well. But I come to shop, and then you can do it a couple ways. I mean, you can look at it like this way. You can come to the products, but I always go to shop home. That's sort of, for me, what makes the most sense. And you can see here that there's pages at the bottom. And I like, even if I have seen everything on here, I just like to look back through everything. That's just how I am. So we're going to go through this. I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about what it is, the stuff that they have, and then, you know, we can sort of navigate through this together. All right, so we were talking about the dies, right? Dies are just the thing that you put into your press that help you, you know, you've seen these before. You put the bullet in the press, you pull the lever down, and it pushes it pushes the case up, and it expands it so it makes it larger, or it makes it more concentric, so the same, like, you know, the neck is all the same, or maybe there's a bullet in there and it seats the bullet, so it like kind of makes sure the bullet's in there at the right spot that you want it. Maybe it puts the primer into the bottom, which is the thing when you hit it, explodes the powder on the inside, right? So you have those. The way that I like modularity through my rifle is the same thing that I like for my dies, right? And luckily this came out right around the time that was sort of happening, is that you could take things out of your die and put new things in, and sort of new processes. And that's what this is, right? So this is a neck sizing bushing. Bushings go inside of dies, and it will help make sure the neck of your bullet is sized the way that it needs to be sized, so that the bullet will not just fall down into the case, that it'll actually have pressure against it and the right amount of pressure for your caliber. So they have that here. They're made extremely nice. We have the headspace gauge. So we talked about being able to measure. So once you put, let's say, the bullet in, now you want to measure the bullet with the case to make sure that it has the right depth, right? I mean, this is not exactly what all of the things are used for, but that's sort of what this is, right? Headspace. And then you have sort of the inserts here. So I do run, like I said, Short Action Custom reloading stuff. So I do have the stuff for 6.5 Creedmoor, and that's the neck sizing. I have the headspace and comparator kit, and there's kits here, and I'll show you. You can buy stuff individually, or you can buy them as a kit. and I did buy stuff as a kit. This again is for measuring. This is for the die for the rings. And then you have this here's the hold. So you can, it's just a case to hold your dies in or your head spaces. So this one, I'm just saying because they offer a bunch that look very similar. And this one here is for your headspace gauges. So to hold these things in, which I also own. And then you can see here, they have the kit. So this is what I bought. And again, I did speak to them on the phone. I said, this is what I need. I still need to be able to measure these. I need to be able to make them. I'm not sure what to get. And they helped me out. So I did buy the modular headspace comparator kit. And I later ended up getting the calipers as well from here, I believe. And that's just everything you need to measure what you need. The modular action wrench. So this is to help you put your action onto your barrel or take your action off of your barrel. You're going to see a lot of stuff repeating here because when they put it on for the caliber that they're putting out there. You'll see that a lot. So this is Creedmoor, and this is the neck and shoulder bushing kind of set here. Let's go to 2. So we have the collet system. So we're talking about the bushing that goes in that helps. The collet is what goes inside, and then the bushing goes in on the collet, and then the collet will help with expanding, or it will help with the neck sizing, whatever that case may be. And again, if you're getting confused, that's okay. That's understandable. That's why we're here. We'll see if we can find an example as we go through this. And this is probably the best example. I own this seating die, and let's see if they break it down at all for you here. I know doesn't look like they do, but you'll see that on here they have what's called a micrometer. These micrometers, there's a way to make very, very small adjustments very accurately. So when you're seating the bullet, if you want it to go down 1/100ths, right, of an inch, then it will do that, right? Or 10, a thousandth of an inch or whatever the case may be. You can measure this. And I will say for myself, this was extremely very, very helpful because I didn't know what I was doing. And so I was just kind of going based off of the stuff that I had found, that I written down. I had measured, I'd already had products made from the company. So I was measuring their bullets and being like, okay, can I replicate this? And so, and I was running Hornady. And so I was just trying to replicate the bullets that they made, which you can't always do super well, but yeah. So let's go back. That wasn't exactly what I wanted to show you guys. Again, we have the action wrench. We have the final scope level. Doesn't look like they actually show you. They need to put more stuff on there. Now they do. I don't know if they're partnered distinctly with Ultimate Reloader, which is one of my favorite YouTube channels for product reviews. If you're trying to understand, most of the stuff that's in this industry has been product reviewed by Ultimate Reloader, and they do such a great job. And so they run a lot of their videos on here, but I don't think they're partnered together or anything. But they do have it. And you can see here, you put the scope on there, and helps level it out. So cool product. And do you need it? Absolutely not. You can just do it off of your rifle, but it is a quick and fast way to do it. Especially what you'll find in this industry is if you want to do well, you have a lot of checks and balances, and you don't want to find that your rings came just a little bit loose, and that your scope just shifted just a little bit, and that's why you're off, right? And so this sort of thing is not a necessity, but it'll help. So we have an expander mandrel. Like I said, that's to help with the inside. It goes in the inside of the bullet, and it expands the neck. And then you have the collet that goes over it, and then that sort of tightens it down, and it kind of keeps it what's called concentric, which means the same, as much as they can, the same thickness all the way around and the same amount of opening. And it's all about, with reloading, trying to make every bullet that you make, and I say bullet when I mean the entire round, make every round exactly the same, so you have consistency through your shooting. And then again, we have shoulder bushings here. So to bump the shoulder back and then keep the neck concentric, that sort of stuff. Here we go. This might actually do it for us so you guys can see. So, man, they do not zoom in on that well. So we have back here, we have the we have the bushing. And then again, this goes on the inside right there. And these go over the ICE as a whole. And then it goes right in there. You can see that has the 247, which is the depth. This is a 268. So how, what it's going to bump it back for you. So cool products if you're going to reload. If not, then this might not be helpful. And I'm not going to go over every single item, but because a lot of them repeat, but I do want to show you. I do run this Bravo barrel kit. So again, your barrel goes in there. These are called shims. The shims go over your barrel. You typically put something over to protect it as well. But the shims are in there, and then it tightens down evenly. And you tighten it down on both sides. You do have to bolt this down to something. So I have a bolt down in my, where I do my rifle stuff. And it will allow you to put enough pressure to essentially detach the action from the barrel. And that's what that system is for. And I bought that through Wolf Precision because that's what they were suggesting at the time. They do have different versions of that, but that is the one that I have. And so far as I know, it's the best one that they have. And a lot of people do recommend it. Now, this is a newer system that they've been putting out. I'll show it on the package version, but it is a funnel system. So you can put powder into your bullet cases without them falling, or without it, without powder going all over the place. Again, they have the modular funnel system. So when we were talking about the leveling kit, this also comes with it. And what it allows you to do is just run a plumb line, a straight up and down line. If you guys don't know this, because of gravity, when you run a string up and down, it'll be completely vertical. And then you just line up you use the balance here to make sure that this is level. And then, so this system is level. And then you put the scope on, your bottom is level. Great. Now you put the scope on and you make sure your scope is level, and then you run it with the plumb. So you make sure that your up and down in the scope is level with what is, with this line that's going to be running very vertically up and down. You have the base here, so you can attach stuff onto it, like your scope level or your other things. I run this Arca mount as well for my system, so I can run it on and off. And then we got some stuff repeating here. And because we're going in this sort of order, I'm not exactly sure, but somehow a shirt ended up all the way up here. They have the Affinity APS dies. So this die is run on a specific system. And I do see a lot of people running dies like these now because it allows you to be a lot more mobile, especially if you want to seat your bullets further down when you're at competition. You'll see these a lot more for what they're doing. And they're supposed to be amazing. They're supposed to be one of the best ones you can get. I don't personally own them yet because I'm not that competitive, but I suppose eventually I will. Here you go. You see the vice system again. So this was what I was waiting to show you. So this is the new funnel kit that they came out with. You'll see at the bottom here, this will hold bullets. And then you have these carbon rods that are holding their funnel system. And it's super nice, but I already own all of the stuff that I need. And I don't own it from here. And so I have just no reason to need to rebuy it is sort of the thing. But you can see, it's pretty nice. I don't know how necessary it is. And I don't know, lifting your bullet up versus just putting the funnel onto your next round. I'm not sure which one is better. But it is really nice. It is really robust. And if you don't own one yet, why not go with that one? It's pretty sweet. I do, and I've mentioned this before, I love these sun shirts. This is one that I don't own that I actually really want. and hopefully I plan on getting it. But they're nice, they're breezy, and they cover you up when you're out all day. These magazine pouches, get one from here. I spent so much time researching magazine pouches, and I got one like cheaper ones, and it's just like they're such a hassle. These are nice, they're made really well. They need to like work on the zoom. This is too much zoom. I don't need to, I just want to see it a little bit bigger. I don't need to see it like that zoomed in. But these magazine pouches are really nice, and that's if you're going to do precision rifle shooting. You can keep your magazine on your hip and perform that way, or sniper challenges or something like that. I don't really need that in F class and bench rest because I have everything right near me, and I don't run clips like that. So, you know, it is what it is. Again, we have the funnel system. So this is their die offerings, and you can see here what you can do. I sort of said earlier, like a cleaning, so you can get one of these dies where you can push it down, it'll clean the inside, things like that, the seating die. But like, I suppose this is what you would do if you were in a position where you had a lot of different types of rounds you would do. This would make sense. But for me, I don't do I don't need to do this. I run just 6.5 Creedmoor. I keep everything in my system, and that's pretty much it. So I don't need this, but if I ever do switch calibers, I will need that. Just as a storage system. They got their hat here, and I'm just making sure everything looks good here. What else do we got? Let's see if we come up with anything new. Again, you're going to see a lot of this stuff repeating because you can see this is for, 2B4 Winchester, and this one's for 223 Remington. And so it does vary on what you're doing, and that's all right. All right, so let's see here. A lot of the same stuff. So this is something I also really want, this Master Gunsmithing kit. And essentially I own this here at the bottom just without the plate. So I would need to get the plate, I guess. But this big metal rod or system here where I would essentially drill it into the concrete into my garage is what I want. But I already own some of this, and I also don't want to pay that amount of money. And I don't know if you can just get that stand by itself. I suppose I could just get something machined myself, but I do really like that, and I'm very interested in getting it someday. Oh, look, here it is. The 737R. So apparently this is the offering from Short Action Customs that people are actually running. I wonder if their team got discounts on this, or maybe even got it for free, and that's why they're running it. But I mean, Short Action Customs, I haven't run their actions, but they make amazing stuff, and that might not be their action. Let's see. I think it might be, because they might sell somebody else's stuff here. Let's see. Couple of veterans, blah, blah. I'm not really sure, guys. You're gonna have to look into that yourselves if you're interested in that system. Let's see here. So we have these Barton barrels. Again, if you're looking for a barrel, they're Bartlin barrels, I should say. We have a Defiance. So it looks like they're maybe getting their actions from here. But again, Defiance is their own company, so maybe they just get a discount because they're sponsored. Maybe they even get them for free, or maybe not at all, but they just do it because they are sponsored by them. So we have a scope here. I'm not super familiar with this scope, but again, this is why it's just like going through this is pretty cool, because you start to see like, okay, like I can start to buy a lot of things that I can just build my rifle here, or I have the services. And so you can start to see, okay, they have actions, they have scopes. So that's a good starting point. Maybe you don't need reloading stuff just yet. You can see here that they have a chassis system that you can put your rifle on. Okay, cool. I got my scope, I got my action, I have my chassis, and then I start to have some extra stuff. I did run this system with the MDT that I have with their stuff. I don't really want to put anything sticky on mine, so that's why I didn't get those. But If you want these 2 extra rounds, it's pretty sweet. Again, they got stocks and chassis on here that you can do. And let's see here. They have manufacturers. So they're doing MPA, Manor, and Cadix, I think is the way you pronounce that. All very good high-end stuff. They're running a bipod. This looks like it is the MDT bipod. So you can start to add these accessories on. Just as a note here, if you ever get a scope, you need to run a level on it, right? When you're leveling everything out, and make sure that everything is always level, and then you can shoot more consistently. I know exactly, like I always run mine on left edge of the black line. So my bubble is touching here. I know that that's as level as I want it, and that's how I shoot, and I know it's the most consistent shooting that I can do for myself. What do we got here? We have muzzle brakes, so this will help disperse the energy that comes out the front of the barrel, and it'll help with it not having as much of a recoil, so they'll like kick back into your arm. That's what these sort of help with. And I did run one from Eric Cortina for a while, but not anymore with the discipline that I'm doing. Magazine accessories, so if you need to change out the spring in your magazine, they have these magazines as well, and they have the metal bottoms for stocks that you guys can add in. And then they have their triggers. Now this isn't their trigger, but I do run this trigger, and I run the 2-stage curved, and I run right-handed, and I run trigger tech, and I run the diamond, and it does look like this. It is green, and it is quite expensive, as you can see, but it's a very, very good trigger. And I like curved because I feel like it contours to my finger, and I like to do 2-stage because I want to be safe. That's really the thing for me. I want to be safe. So my finger can sit on the trigger and have that first initial give, and then I can pull, and I feel like I can settle in on the trigger. I can rest my finger there for a little bit. I make sure I'm all in the right positioning, and then I can do, the second pull, and then I'll get where I wanted to be with that. So, but yeah, that's everything that we sort of have here. Again, we have all the products. So we just went through all of those 16 lines. So quite a bit of stuff in their shop. And then we have their contact information. Now I will say that I almost exclusively use Short Action Customs for reloading. That's what I use them for. But from their shop, you can see that they have some stuff in here that, oh wait, I don't need to go to checkout. They have some stuff in here that, could be beneficial for you, and that's not particularly reloading. But especially like if you're going to take barrels off and things like that. But you can sort of get an idea, what does Short Action Customs do? How can they provide you? Personally, I think that Short Action Customs is an amazing company. I think they're putting out some of the best products out there. They're really listening to their consumer. They're really helping improve the industry and put out stuff that is, it's a little expensive, let's be honest, but buy once, cry once, right? So I think hopefully you guys enjoy this. Hopefully you guys did the walkthrough. If you're looking for some of the items that they have, definitely take a look, but also give them a call. They'll be able to help you guys navigate what you guys are trying to do. And I think if you're, a newer person, maybe you're not quite ready for a lot of what they offer, but if you are ready to take that step, especially into reloading or taking your own barrels off, putting your own barrels on, measuring all of your bullets and things like that, this is a company that you can rely on and a company that you can take to the bank. So thank you guys for tuning in today, and I will talk to you guys next time.